So believe it or not, Qualcomm has finally stepped up their game, and the thermal throttling issues that we see in the Snapdragon Gen 1 has finally been fixed. And no, it's not the 8 Gen 1 that's been fixed. There's the new chipset 8 Plus Gen 1. I know how boring that sounds, but believe me, 8 Plus Gen 1 is the real deal, and there is no better chipset currently on the market, at least in the Android world. So let's talk about it, and in this video I'll let you know everything about the 8 Gen Plus 1. 8 Plus Gen 1. Coming to the CPU, it uses one 3.2 GHz core based on the Cortex X2. It has 3 mid-tier cores clocked at 2.75 GHz based on Cortex A7 and 4 efficiency cores clocked at 2 GHz based on the Cortex A5. The highest core clock frequency is 3.2 GHz and it is based on the 4 nanometer process. So coming to the graphics performance, the GPU they are using is Adreno 730, which is based on the architecture of Adreno 700. It uses the frequency of 820 MHz with 3 execution units and 763 shading units. It provides 2236 gigaflops and it can support all the latest Vulkan, OpenCL and DirectX support. The 8 Plus Gen 1 can support a maximum of 24 gigs of RAM and LPDDR5 technology with 3200 MHz of maximum frequency. Coming to the ISP or image signaling processor, it uses the Hexagon processor with UFS 3.1 storage type, and it can support up to 4K resolution on the display and max camera resolution is 200 megapixel if you are using a single camera, and it supports 8K up to 30 frames per second, 4K up to 120 frames per second, and it can also support the video playback of up to 8K at 30 frames per second. It uses the video codecs of H.265 and 264. Modem is basically the same as the last generation. It uses the Snapdragon X65 modem which supports 4G and 5G and download speeds up to 2500 megabits per second and upload speeds of 316 megabits per second respectively, and it also supports the Bluetooth 5.2. Now coming to the most exciting part, which is definitely the benchmarks, and we are going to see Antutu 9 scores first, and the Antutu 9 score of this processor is more than a million. It is 1,098,720, and the Geekbench 5 scores of multi-core is 4190 and a single core score of 1318, which puts it above anything we have seen in the Android world. But the best part about this is that the thermal throttling has finally stopped, and based on testing on the phones that are released with the 8 Plus Gen 1, I can finally support the claim that it does not thermal throttle. It is able to support its maximum performance for more than 2 hours and it does not heat up. So the curse has been finally lifted and you can finally go out to buy a Qualcomm powered phone because it is really good now. There is no other chipset I would rather use in an Android flagship other than the 8 Plus Gen 1 at the moment. So that was it. Hope you guys liked the video and make sure to subscribe or dislike it if you feel like it.